Let's be real. Property development is a high-stakes game. Every single decision, from buying the land to trying to raise the capital, it all comes down to one thing: knowing your numbers. If you get it right, you can build a legacy. But if you get it wrong, well, the consequences can be absolutely devastating. So how do you make sure you're on the right side of that equation? Let's dive in and see how to make every single project count.
So if you're about to start a new project, or maybe you're just looking at a site, what's the one thing that keeps you up at night? For pretty much every developer out there, it boils down to a single word: risk. That feeling of uncertainty, of not knowing what you don't know.
And this, right here, this is what we call the developer's dilemma. You've got this great vision. You see a massive opportunity, but you're surrounded by this financial fog and what feels like 100 different variables that could sink the whole thing.
Now try to move forward on just a gut feeling? That's not just risky. It's basically a recipe for some very specific disasters. You're opening yourself up to huge financial losses, cost estimates that are way off, and that dreaded funding rejection from the bank. And that's not even mentioning the project delays that just slowly bleed you dry.
The answer to all this uncertainty isn't just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. It's a rock-solid, accurate feasibility study. This is all about replacing guesswork with actual foresight. It's literally the foundation that your entire project and your chances of raising capital will stand on. Okay, so let's get into the good stuff. How do we actually turn simple bits of data into real, tangible financial insights? This is the part where the guesswork stops and the smart, data-driven decisions really begin.
And just so we're all on the same page, a feasibility analysis isn't some vague estimate you jot down on a napkin. No, it's a deep dive, a comprehensive study that gives you a crystal clear picture of every part of your project, all the costs, the potential revenue, the timelines, and of course, the most important part, the bottom line profitability.
And this is where the magic happens. You start with really straightforward inputs. The address, the project type, the timeline. And instantly, that simple data gets crunched and transformed into this powerful financial dashboard that tells you basically everything you need to know.
Whoa, let's just pause on that for a second. Over $2 million in profit. At the end of the day, that is the number that really matters, right? This is the figure that makes all the effort worthwhile and gets investors to actually pick up the phone. But where does a number like that even come from? Well, it's not just pulled out of thin air. It's the end result of a super detailed breakdown of every single cost, from the total acquisition and development costs all the way down to finance costs, all stacked up against your gross revenue. So if we look at the big numbers for this Perth project, you've got a total cost of around $8.5 million, which generates $10.5 million in revenue. That leaves us with that awesome $2 million net profit and a really healthy 24% return on cost. What that means is for every dollar you put in, you get 24 cents back in profit. These are the key metrics that really define a project's success. But look, a truly successful project isn't just about the best-case scenario. It's about knowing how your project is going to hold up when when they don't go according to plan. And that's where we get into advanced risk analysis. This is the question, isn't it? It's what every savvy developer and every serious investor asks. What happens if interest rates shoot up? What if my construction costs suddenly escalate? Yeah, your initial numbers look great, but how fragile are they really? And here is the answer: a sensitivity analysis tool that lets you actually play out those what-if scenarios in real time. You can just move these sliders and see exactly how a change in interest rates, or a jump in construction costs, or maybe a dip in sale prices will impact your bottom line. Just look at this direct comparison. Our base profit was over $2 million. But let's say construction costs blow out by 20%, which is a very real possibility in today's market. That profit suddenly drops by over $500,000, and your return on cost gets nearly cut in half. Knowing this before you even start, that is a massive strategic advantage. Okay, let's take this a step further. It's one thing to see your profit shrink, but what's the absolute breaking point? Where is that line in the sand between making a profit and actually losing money? This is exactly what a break-even analysis is for. It doesn't just guess at risk. It calculates your exact risk thresholds. It tells you precisely how much your costs can go up or your revenue can drop before your project is no longer profitable. And these numbers are incredibly empowering. For this particular project, construction costs can blow out by almost 25% before you start losing money. And even more impressively, interest costs could more than double. This isn't just data. This is your margin of safety, all quantified for you. So, having this level of analysis,
is powerful, no doubt, but it becomes a true game changer when it's part of a complete ecosystem that's designed for the entire development lifecycle.
It all starts with a command center, a single dashboard where you can see all of your projects at a glance. Your new developments, your quick flips, your total profit pipeline, it just brings everything together under one roof.
And once you've got your current projects humming along, the next question is always, okay, where do I find the next one? Well, the ecosystem expands to answer that too, with a marketplace of curated deals that lets you discover and then instantly analyze your next big opportunity.
Of course, a great deal is nothing without the capital to actually make it happen. So the final piece of the puzzle is connecting you directly with trusted finance brokers, people who get property development and can help you get your project over the line and funded. So this brings us to this really crucial workflow. First, you analyze your numbers with total precision. Then you stress test them against all the real-world risks. After that, you use the platform to find new deals. And finally, you connect with the people who can provide the funding. It's a complete cycle, taking you from just an idea to a fully funded reality.
And what's the ultimate output of this whole process? It's confidence. It's the ability to walk into a meeting with a lender or an investor, hand them a professional, data-backed, stress-tested report, and give them every single reason to say yes.
Which really leaves us with just one final thought. When all that uncertainty is replaced with clarity, when risk is quantified and managed, and when every single number on the page just makes sense, what will you have the confidence to build next?